Changes Naruto by Drake, Chapter 39. Warning. Sasuke opened his eyes, finding himself in a strange, desolate place. Wake up, Sasuke. A deep, elderly voice spoke. Sasuke stood looking around to see none other than the sage of six paths. Oh, Kaka-sama. It's good to see you again. Where are we? Sasuke felt strangely foggy and low on chakra. The sage sighed and looked away. You're more like me than you realize. A decision is set at your feet, Sasuke. I have used my divine power to peek into the future and see how your battle ends. Naruto betrays his duty and releases the immortals my brothers and I fought to cage. It was blurry, but it was him. That ring and the cage door were open to feed the monsters. You must not allow this to happen. If he decides to open it, you will have to kill him. Sasuke stepped back in shock. Are you insane? I can't kill him. The sage sighed, looking away. I know. This is a repeat of history. I wasn't able to kill my brother either. I must show you the change Naruto will bring if left unchecked. Then he poked Sasuke's forehead, much like Ichi likes to do. It only made Sasuke's vision swarm and teleport him to what looked like Konoha Hall at night, only the buildings were taller and the air had an eerie feel to it. Sasuke began making his way home when a hand grabbed his shoulder and yanked him into an alley. Suddenly, Sasuke was face to face with a girl with a shuriken. A girl around his age held a blade to his neck and glowered hard, and then stepped back. You don't have any seals on you. Good, come with me. I'll get you something to eat. My name is Sandra Uchiha. Sasuke nodded, following her. Sasuke Uchiha, mind telling me where we're going? She glanced back and stopped. We have 3 hours till sunrise. I felt your chakra and decided to investigate. You can't be out at night. You should know this. Sasuke stopped when he saw the town square. People were unchanged, looking to be starved. In front of a man with blood-red eyes, Sasuke's body tensed and he began walking towards them, drawing his sword slowly. No, you idiot! She grabbed his arm tightly and began pulling. The Shamaruran, Nara, an elite. We'd get killed if you fought him. Sasuke activated his Sharingan and began looking Shakimura over. He looked around 17 in an athletic frame, and the same black hair and ponytail. He had blood-red eyes surrounded by black. His skin was pale, and on his back were 2 short swords. The strangest thing were the red seals on his left side. What are you talking about? Samurai is harmless, a genius but harmless. Sasuke ripped his arm from her grasp. She looked at Sasuke in shock. Those eyes. Only one person ever had those eyes. Tears welled up in her eyes and she hugged Sasuke, breathing in assent. Well, what are you doing? He stammered. She pushed back a little. You're from the past, right? My name is Sandra Uchiha, daughter of Sasuke Uchiha and Kara Nuzumaki. Sasuke was bewildered. As she said this, the black hair and red eyes, but she had the same facial features of Kara. This is impossible, Sasuke whispered. Sara grinned. Wait till Daisuke sees you. Who? She laughed quietly. My big brother, leader of the human race. Who said you could leave, Uchiha? Samaru landed in front of them. Even from the height he dropped, he still didn't make a... Samaru smirked. Kid, you look like a class might have had a little over 20 years ago. He was always a drag. Are you two gonna come quietly, or do I need to kill you? Sasuke pointed his sword at the head and in a reverse grip. You can try, Samaru. You know who I am, yet you're willing to fight? You're either stupid or confident. Samaru drew the sword from his back. In a lightning-fast movement, Samaru shot forward, aiming to stab Sasuke, but Sasuke blocked him. Impressive. I can't remember the last human that was able to block one of my attacks. Samaru then kicked Sasuke back and stalked forwards. Sasuke coughed as he summoned his concealed Sanru armor. You want to fight? I'll give you a fight. That's enough. A man stepped into the light. He had black hair that fell from his eyes, blood-red irises, and a muscular body. He looked to be in his late 20s. He wore all black clothing and had no weapons. The seal covered his entire body, with the ones on his left side being red and the ones on his right being blue. Raisin-sama, I was going to bring them in. No need, Nara. I recognize that eyes. He's just a visitor, and likely won't be here long. Besides, if you wanted him dead, he'd be dead. The man spoke with an air of authority and demanded respect. Sasuke went to attack them, but faster than he could see, Raisin had planted a fist into his gut and made Sasuke spit blood. Careful, child. I've spared your life this once. I will not do it again. Sasuke fell to his knees, clutching his stomach in pain. What the hell are you? Raisin kneeled to eye level and smiled. I'm the ruler of this planet. Tell the sage I said thank you for letting me know he was truly out of options. Then Sasuke was yanked backwards, and he was in front of the sage again, who looked winded. I was going to tell you to stay longer to see more, but I'm afraid I couldn't leave you around that creature for long. Was that real? Sasuke asked. The sage nodded. Yes, I don't know why, but Naruto Uzumaki released the Ochakin clan from the prisons. It was all his fault that humanity suffered the greatest loss. It will never go through. Raisin let a few become immortal demigods, but leaves most human for life slavery purposes. As you saw in his real body, Raisin is incredibly powerful. The only way to win this is to defeat him while he's imprisoned someone and thrown his soul into the cage. It took him 1,000 years to get through last time, but that may be the best we can do. Sasuke was suddenly aware of someone violently shaking his shoulders. Blinking rapidly, he saw Naruto shaking him and forcing him to stop. Dude, relax, I'm alright. If you die, can I have your sword? Naruto asked. Sasuke just squinted in response. No. But, just no, Sasuke interrupted. Then Sasuke sighed. Naruto, I gotta ask you something. Is there any reason you would intentionally release evil creatures that are tougher than us? Naruto tilted his head. No, why would I do that? My powers are meant to protect the earth, not destroy it. Well, I'll talk to you later. I gotta go somewhere for a while. Sasuke then vanished via teleport. Naruto paused. You asked you couldn't give me a lift back home? Chapter 30. Promise of a lifetime. Naruto yawned as he trickled home, idly noticing a faint chakra signature near him, one he was immediately familiar with. Come out, Hinata-chan. You're getting better at suppressing your chakra, but I can still feel you. How long could you sense me? She asked, quietly smiling at her boyfriend as she stepped out from behind a tree. About a minute after Sasuke left. I guess you saw my chakra with your Byakugan. Naruto stepped out of his jacket and dropped it over her shoulders. She nodded. Wait, you've been able to sense me for 20 minutes, and you let me follow you anyways. It's freezing out here, Naruto-kun. He hugged her, chuckling at her flushed cheeks. I know, Hinata, but next time don't try to be sneaky, okay? If I didn't know you, I might have attacked without thinking, but I don't think I could ever live without you. She kissed his cheek and smiled warmly at him. Don't underestimate me, Naruto-kun. He nodded and a warm blush crept over his cheeks. I want to try something, by the way. What? I hope you don't mean, I'm not ready yet, yeah? She stammered. Naruto shook his head, becoming bright. No, I want to see if other people can use my cloak. Okay, what do I do? She asked, embarrassed by her conclusion. Naruto hugged her at the small of her back, pressing their bodies closer together. Just relax. I'll take care of you. Forever. He whispered the last part, thinking she didn't hear it, but in truth it set her heart aflutter. The golden energy lit up Naruto's body, followed by the unusual markings and bright glow. Hinata relaxed, following into the warmth. You're so warm, she whispered. Suddenly Hinata's body took on a slight glow, and wind picked up around them. This feels amazing, Naruto-kun. Is it what you feel every time you use the cloak? Unfortunately, no. It takes on the properties of my current emotion, normally anger or will to win. Right now, it's how I feel about you. Naruto whispered into her ear, lips brushing her cheek. Then he kissed her softly, the golden light intertwining to where it was visible. I love you, Hinata. I love you too, Naruto. Half a mile away, a man with blood-red eyes and white hair watched the scene unfold, using his heightened senses of sight with a dark smirk on his face. Ryzen will be pleased. The next morning, Naruto opened his eyes to see the Sai. I guess I passed out here. He was on the ground, but felt more comfortable than he'd ever felt in his life. He almost sat up when he saw Hinata draped over him. Her head on his chest, arms around his torso, and legs over his right leg. She was sleeping so soundly he couldn't bear to wake her up, even though his right foot was cold from lack of blood flow and beginning to tingle. He began slowly brushing her hair away from his cheek and taking in every detail of her white skin. When his eyes began to travel, he noticed that sometime last night she discarded her pants and a hoodie, probably used to sleeping that way. She wore a long black shirt, one he noticed, and a pair of lavender-colored panties. As he took in the firm, beautiful muscle of her legs, she shuddered slightly. Stop poking me, Naru, she muttered sleepily, shifting her body against his, making him turn brighter red than his mother's hair. He dared not to move as he realized exactly what was poking her. When she opened her eyes and looked at him, she yawned. I asked you to quit poking me. I'm having a good dream. Then she noticed his collar and looked down to see what was poking her and just giggled nervously. I'm sorry, I thought, you think I'm beautiful? Naruto nodded slowly. Absolutely. She smiled nervously and adjusted her body slightly, then lay back down on top of him. I'm not ashamed of it, Naruto-kun. In fact, it makes me a little happy. Never can get this reaction from you. He ran a thumb over her cheeks. I'm glad, but I think we should get back to the village before people start wondering where we are. She nodded, then got up after a few minutes. Hinata, wait. I just thought of something. Your chocolate became solid if compressed it. I got one more thing I want to try. Let me see your hand. He took a left hand in both of his and closed his eyes. A bright glow flashed from between his palms and Hinata's, marveling at how warm her hand suddenly felt. When Naruto removed his hands from hers, he saw a small ring made of faintly glowing metallic chakra. It was bright, but it glowed enough to be noticeable if you knew what was there. Naruto-kun, It's my promise of a lifetime. We are not enough to get married, but I want you to know you'll always have me. As soon as we're old enough, I'll ask you to marry me for real. He kissed her hand gently, a tear leaking from her eye, despite the wide smile on her face. They walked back to the village hand in hand, never noticing the man spying on them. End of chapter 30.